awesome. This is going to be a good one. If you can hear me, that is, because I'm testing a microphone. What do you think? Tony, is it working? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the microphone working? Look, it's perfect. It's good. Tony says it's good. The sound is good.
It's very good.
All right. All right. Awesome. So I got a microphone. I mean, I had one, but I just never really used it for various reasons. Oh, but you know what that means? I can get rid of this box.
It's very nice.
And I'm going to move this up. So anyway, everybody, thank you for joining. We are going to get started soon. There's so much going on. Callie, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Even though it's like post Saturday and we all have to get all ready for the week. But anyway, we've got to sum up the weekend. I did not do, hey, Mike, how are you? I didn't do a live last night for various reasons, just because, just post week fallout, and exhaustion and whatever. And but we have got a lot of stuff going on. And of course, because I missed a day, we missed like so much. So there's some breaking news, some headlines. Guess who has joined the Middle East war? I don't even want to call it the U.S.-Israel war in Iran, because it's like this massive regional conflict in which there's about 15 countries involved. Make that now 16, or if you count them as a country, not sure you can count them as a country, but guess who, I'm giving you a big hint, who has just joined the conflict. And hello to Bethany. No, not Bethany. Bethany did not join the conflict. She joined the live. Thank you. Do you know who I'm talking about, guys? All right. I'm going to tell you, it's the Houthis. The Houthis have joined the war. Now, why is this important? And hello to John and Carol. Thank you for joining. Why is it important that the Houthis have joined the war? What's happening here? Well, the Houthis are the Iranian quasi-proxy based in Yemen, and they have a, what do you call it? Like they have a government there. They're kind of running Yemen. They're in Sana'a, but they're not recognized as the legal government. There's a bunch of factions over there. And also Saudi Arabia was at war with them for years, didn't beat them. I just don't understand how, but there was like just horrible famine and crisis over there in Yemen. And the Houthis, which are like, they're with Iran in general, they joined the conflict after October 7th, on the side of, in solidarity with Hamas, and they launched tons of rockets, missiles from all the way down the bottom of the Red Sea, all the way up to Israel, some reaching as far into Israel as Tel Aviv. I think they said several times they were aiming for the airport. So they've been silent during this one, which started on February 28th. They've been pretty silent, but they decided they've been threatening, and they've been saying we stand with our Iranian brothers, et cetera, the regime brothers, and they just jumped in. This is what we've been waiting for, whether or not they were going to do it. And so in three ways today, there were 2 missiles launched. I didn't understand the translated word in Hebrew for what one of them was. One was a ballistic, one was another missile, and a drone, which just was shot down just like within the last hour over Eilat. So anyway, the Houthis are in. So now the question is, and by the way, there's sirens going off right now in Beersheba, Dimona, Arad. These are the southern cities in Israel, of Ofakim, close to the Gaza envelope. area. So this is probably, I think this is from Iran. I think they said that they detected a launch from Iran. But that's like Houthi territory as well. Although Iran has had no problem. Yeah, it's Iran. Okay, according to the news anyway. Let me see some things. Wow, Mike, what was this? Your blood pressure. Hey, be careful over there. You got to take care of yourself. And okay, hello to Tammy from Fort Worth and Cindy Lou. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, you guys have joined. The Houthis have joined. And what else do we have going on? So there's, I don't even know where to go with this. There's just so much. Let's just go down the list. Okay, so here's an interesting tidbit. The U.S. said yesterday it can only confirm with certainty that it has destroyed 1/3 of Iran's missile arsenal. Now, that's a lot less than what they were saying before. What they were saying before, Israel and the U.S. were saying that they thought it was like closer to 50% or to over 50%, like definitely over. So in fact, I think they were saying 70%, which is basically the exact opposite of 30%. So not great, really. That's there's still a lot, and they have proven what kind of missiles they have, including the very long range ones that they shot at the is it Diego Garcia Island, which is where the U.S. has a U.S. and British military base. And that was something like 4,000 kilometers. So that means that from Iran, they could reach most of Europe's capitals. So flying right past Israel onto Europe is what they could technically do if they needed to. Okay, so a little bit about what's happening in Iran. They are apparently suffering from a manpower issue. And so they are opening up their recruitment to all the way down to the age of 12. Due to demand, even 12-year-olds can join the army, the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and they can stand at checkpoints. They can carry out reconnaissance missions. There's many things that 12-year-olds can do, apparently. Now, if you remember in the Iran-Iraq war, what did kids do? There were kids that were recruited to the military. And what did they have the kids do? They had them run across minefields to clear the minefields for the soldiers to follow. Now, if you clear the minefield, like as a person, not with with equipment, what does that mean? These kids were killed. So anyway, so now, when they say that they're recruiting 12-year-olds, I also wonder, and I, would want to speak to some Iranians about this, that will it be a forced recruitment? Will they, here, Tony, can you check this out? Because Raya's messaging, and next means she's going to call. So, so what will they actually do with these 12-year-olds? How will they use them? Exactly. So now Israel has been targeting the checkpoints that they have set up, like that the secret police have set up, and they with drones. So they go after them with drones, and there's police out there with these checkpoints out in the street, and then suddenly drones are coming by and shooting them. And so the question is, will they have them there? Will they have them in the line of fire? Will they have them just pouring coffee for the people? I don't know. So anyway, so that's that. Now, as far as attacks, we have a little bit going on of what you would call an eye for an eye, or a steel plant for a steel plant. So Israel went after some steel plants, some metal factories in Iran, and it was actually apparently that really got to Iran, because they were like, whoa, you're going after our infrastructure. Well, now you're a target, and every American and or steel plant asset in all of these countries, and they name them, can be a legitimate target. Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you which ones that Israel targeted. It was steel plants and power stations in Ahvaz, the Sanjan steel plants in Isfahan, and a water facility in Arak, which is something to do with, I think, how it has something to do with nuclear development somehow. This was considered a strategic shift in the type of targets, and that some people are estimating that the damage could be in the billions of dollars. The Iranian news agency Tasnim said that, like, after that, they said, following today's attacks by the U.S. and Israel against these steel plants, I can't pronounce them, 6 steel plants in Israel, and 5 countries in the region, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait, have been declared as new targets for retaliatory attacks by Iran. Now, the IDF said that it struck a unique facility in Iran used for the production of raw materials required for the uranium enrichment process. The Israeli Air Force, acting on IDF intelligence, struck a uranium extraction plant located in Yazd in central Iran. Now, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi responded to Israel's targets, and they said that Iran will exact heavy price for Israel's crimes. So there were attacks around the region. There were attacks in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE overnight. I don't have details on how that unfolded, although I will tell you that the Iranian attack in Saudi Arabia, or at least one of them, there was an attack on a U.S. base there, and at least 12 American soldiers were injured in that. So, you can see this is still extremely regional. Now, all right, coming back to, let me go back to chats. Let me see what's happening. And, oh, wow, a lot of people joined while I was on another screen. Oh my gosh. Hi, Bernadette. Good to see you. And Cheryl from Tennessee. And oh wait, guys, I was supposed to be putting these comments on the screen. See, I forgot. I'm so non-technical, but and greetings to Sona in Pasadena. Awesome. I'm gonna show some. Walter, God bless you too. And Cheryl from Tennessee. We've got Bernadette, I think, from Colorado, which that's weird to say, right? I should be saying like Nyack or Westchester or something. And hello to Cindy Lou and Tammy. Look at this, guys. See, I get to put these things on the screen. This is awesome. All right. I'm literally just going through, clicking on everyone that I missed, because I think, and if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but this is awesome. Okay. Oh, look at this. And Oklahoma in the house. Hi, Dava. This is awesome. All right. So let me bring it back to closer to home. We had several missiles launched from, look at this, like I just do this right now as I'm talking. Okay, we had several missiles from Iran, Hezbollah, and apparently now Yemen this morning. And last night, one of the missiles was a cluster bomb warhead. And, you just see it, like I've said this before, if you've heard me say this, it's like fireworks, like the way they just kind of spread out like that and really cover in a very deadly manner a large area as these small warheads are coming down. And yesterday in Tel Aviv, it hit near a restaurant. And what I understood was that there was somebody who didn't take shelter or wasn't close enough to a shelter, and he was killed. So there was a deadly attack last night. Now today, there was another warning in the middle of the day for the Jerusalem area, and we heard the explosion from our bomb shelter. There was more than one, actually, and I don't know what to tell you, like which one is which. The loudest one we ever heard was the one that hit by Tony's mother's house in the old city, and that one was just so loud from, even from here to there, which is like 3 miles maybe. That one was just unbelievable. Now this one was not as loud, but it was very distinct. And it turns out that it was Beit Shemesh. It was in the Eshtaol area, which is where IKEA is, which, by the way, you wouldn't believe this. This country's on somewhat lockdown, and yet IKEA has like doubled their revenue because people are shopping. They have nothing else to do. The kids are off and nobody's working. And so what do? They spend money. They're spending twice the amount of money at IKEA than they would normally in just a normal month. It's insane. We had inside information on that. But in any case, so this missile got to, I think it was again a fragment, like it was intercepted and it was fragments, but the damage was so bad in the Beit Shemesh area that multiple homes I don't know if it was homes, multiple buildings are destroyed. Like you could see the, what do you call it? Like the destruction, like over a wide area. There were, I think it was an industrial area because it looked like there were a bunch of cars parked, and it was like every single one of those cars is probably damaged to some extent, to a major extent. Also, a lot of those houses there had the small orange tiles. And so those things just like totally destroyed everywhere, like just making an even bigger mess than than like if it was just like one building with a flat roof, but those terracotta roofed buildings just totally destroyed. So anyway, that nobody was killed. There's about 20 injured in that one, but nobody was killed. So anyway, so that's some of what was happening around Israel during the last few days. Now, and hello to Jane and Alba too. Alba, you saw I threw your comment up there even while I was talking, and Jane too. Oh my gosh, yes. I hope you can come in October. I hope by the time October rolls around, this will be old news, and that you will be able to come here. Okay, so now we are going to turn our attention to President Trump because I have a video I want to play, and let's hope that it works because now I have this microphone here, and I hope it doesn't interfere with my ability to play things. Let's see. You guys ready? Let me know if you can't hear this. Volume's up.
We're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the strait of Hormuz. Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. We're negotiating.
All right. I'm glad you guys could hear that. So I talked about this today in my short update that I do on like the smaller, I do like a short update on Instagram, and it goes up on YouTube as well. And I think it gets posted on Facebook as well. But somebody didn't believe that he actually uttered those words that he wants to do. Well, why not? Didn't he say the Gulf of Mexico needed to be changed? Didn't he also change like the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Gulf or something like that, or vice versa? I don't even know. So anyway, sure enough, yes, he did say this. Now, it's so interesting that of all of these, now let's put me and the Don in the same screen. We're both from Queens. I mean, actually, I think he's from Jamaica and I'm from like a couple blocks down. So it's just amazing. Anyway, so it's like there's serious negotiations supposed to be going on. There's like a serious war happening all around. And he is talking about renaming the Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of Trump. Now, that kind of like cracks me up in the middle of here's missiles really flying, and here's, Israel going after some very serious plants over there, steel plants and possible nuclear material plants in Iran. And then you've got the Houthis joining, and wait till we get to Lebanon. I'm saving this for after. And yet he's talking about renaming this. Now, also, I didn't have time to gather all of the notes, and I really would like to be able to just do a montage of all of the Trump quotes. I mean, I probably will never actually get to that. I'm sorry, as much as I would love to, but all of the quotes that together of him saying, like, for instance, 7 days, or what did he say, 48 hours. And then he said, okay, they're going to negotiate, so I'll give them 5 days. And then he said, then they asked for time, and they asked for 7 days. And I said, oh, I'll give you 10. And I'm like, wait, isn't that like opposite? So honestly, I don't think any of this is is reflecting reality. Like, I think there is something going on behind the scenes that none of us really are privy to. And Donald Trump is the most unpredictable president, if not world leader, possibly in history, at least in my knowledge, to my knowledge, that, I mean, he's got a plan, and I don't think that his words necessarily match his plan nor reflect his plan. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. So I'm not going to get too much into what did. Oh, look, Mike was very upset. I turned off his comments. I turned off everybody's comments, and then I'm putting on the new ones. So here you go. I put your comment there. So here it's on the screen. Yeah. Also, here's more, and this is what how much can somebody ask? Oh, did you hear about Rubio's comment? I'm like, I did, but you know what? Like, I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, so, no, it was Rubio said today. Sorry, somebody said, did you hear Vance's comment? I did, but it was a couple hours after I heard Rubio's comment. Now, Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State Rubio, said that he thinks the war is going to be another 4 weeks. Then Vance got up and he said it's going to be another 2 to 4 weeks. And so anyway, I've given up trying to follow the timeline. The Israeli military had said about a week ago that they have 6 weeks worth of comments. Targets. Sorry, comments. I was looking at your comments here. I'm putting K's up here now. Anyone who can navigate this better than he has, no idea. And yep, Callie, Trump's words never reflect his plan. Remember moving 2 million Gazans out of Gaza. Yeah, meanwhile, I just read a headline. I have no news. I'm not going to update on this because it's way too complex for just, a headline. But that Hamas is very quietly rebuilding itself during this time because nobody's watching. And I mean, I'm sure somebody's watching, obviously, but the media is not. That's for sure, because the media is still playing catch up with the 16-country war that is happening across the region. Now, speaking of 16 country, we're about to make it 17, because do you guys know that Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is doing like a Gulf nation tour? He was in Saudi Arabia meeting with MBS, the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Then he went to UAE and he was meeting with the Crown Prince, I think with Zayed. I'm not sure if he actually met with him or somebody in the administration. And then he went to, and I'm sorry, it's either Oman or Qatar, but like I was like, wait a second, like now I'm noticing a pattern. I don't have my phone right now where I saw all of that. Never mind. I'll save that for like for another when I can actually like, when I saw it was in Saudi Arabia, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they signed an agreement. They signed some kind of agreement. And then I saw he went to the UAE, and then I saw, and I'm like, something's going on here. Also, I mentioned in another, I mentioned, but I haven't really dwelled on, or like we haven't taken it apart, but the UAE ambassador to the US, Otaiba, wrote an op-ed that was published about saying that, okay, like essentially, these are my words on him, like we've got to finish this off. Like you can't like there has to be a stopgap in place against Iran in the region. And I think that's like maybe somewhat out of fear of like, wow, if this ends with negotiations and Iran still has power, we're in trouble. Like the UAE is in trouble. Look where the UAE is compared to Iran. Like that's like a troubling location to be in. So there has to be some kind of restraint on Iran, some kind of restraining order, whether it's regime change, which would be the ultimate, or whether it's some other ability to block them or stop them from continuing to attack, because the UAE has come under a lot of attack. I mean, as many missiles as Israel's absorbing, I think the Gulf states are getting hit worse. I mean, there was one day where I think there were 12 that were fired at Israel, but there were 17 that were fired at Kuwait, and Kuwait's a very small country. So here, let me show Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining. When you have to deal with the people in Washington, D.C., he has to, you would send strange information also, but I feel he's an intelligent, strong president. Okay. I mean, a lot of people are saying that as well. And if you look at the way that his words and what he says are like all over the place, but ultimately he still will do something that throws everybody off. So, is it like luck or is it strategy, And so anyway, a lot of people are looking at this, and basically the word here that everybody's using is unpredictable. And all of the analysts that I've read from this region, they're like, this guy's just unpredictable. So, and they're looking at it from their perspective here in the Middle East, and not necessarily the DC perspective like you're bringing up, which is also interesting. Okay, so Mike says, I saw a story that Iran is sending IGRCA troops to Karg Islands. What is IGRCA? Is that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps? Is that like, I did not see that, and I will check that out. But like that makes sense if they are doing that, just in terms of the fact that they were saying like that could be where everything stops and ends, like this particular war. Like if the U.S. could take over or would take over this island, then it could be like just financially they could put a stop on Iran's money flow, and then then eventually that would be what would stop them. But I don't know. They're also very ideologically and theologically driven. So I don't know. Walter votes for strategy. And okay. All right. And you didn't mean to put the A, but it could stand for army. Who knows? Anyway. All right. So now, right. So Janice says Iran bombing the Gulf countries seems ridiculous. It cannot benefit Iran. Well, I think, and I think what could be happening is that they are bombing. Also, they're bombing the Gulf countries. Like, let's take it apart in two ways. One is they are going after American assets in the region. So, for instance, in like American bases, or where American diplomats are believed to stay, like they stay in certain hotels or whatever. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing is they could be bombing these countries, and they're targeting not just then the American assets, but they're also targeting the financial assets, like, for instance, oil production or gas production in different facilities like that, to hurt those countries in order to have them put pressure on the US to stop the war. So that could be the reasoning behind Iran bombing the Gulf countries. And Walter is going with strategy, and Trump's very intelligent. Okay. And Mike says they have hit multiple places that are refineries. Exactly. Now, let me tell you how this affects even you guys far away. It's not just the war and bombings and sites that are getting attacked, but eventually, I did an article on this. Oil, obviously, the prices are going to go up for gas, etc. But also, all of this is going to have an impact on the food supply in two different ways. One is that it's going to cost more to ship the food to everywhere in the world, like because of the prices of gas. So if food has to be exported or imported, and you need a place to ship it somewhere, then of course it goes up because of those gas prices to get it there. But number two, and perhaps even more of an issue, is that I think a third of the world's fertilizer comes from the Gulf. Specifically, I think it's Qatar and the other countries. I don't remember. I wrote an article about this 3 weeks ago, and it feels like a year ago. And I never knew anything about fertilizer, like, in my life. Like, I'm from New York City. Like, I don't know. I don't use, like, soil and plant things, right? So I don't know much about fertilizer and stuff like that, but apparently it's made of different things like ammonia and urea, and these countries produce those products. I think it's like a burn off of the gas or something. Somebody smarter than me will know how to explain this, but they produce the elements that go into fertilizer, and some of them also produce fertilizer. So if the fertilizer doesn't get out in time, then also that could be a problem. So anyway, let's see. Cindy Lou says, hard to believe anything these leaders say. Totally agree. They show what they want us to know, usually, which isn't exactly. And that's why I actually don't focus so much on the comments that have been out there by the politicians and the leaders, because number one, we know that coming from Iran, there is a strong propaganda machine, but also, if you can say what you want about these other countries, but every country is speaking for its own good. They're not going to disparage, like, a leader of a military is not going to disparage its own military or its own country or its own strategy. So that's why I don't even bother, because obviously they're saying it for their benefit. So I prefer to look at the big picture, the overall strategy, and what's happening actually on the ground and with the attacks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really tough. We need a lot of wisdom these days. Okay, Callie says the Islamic Republic is an apocalyptic theocracy. They believe the Mahdi will come in a time of chaos. They are trying to create chaos. This is more fundamental than economic for them. Okay, so yeah, so exactly, that there could be more of an issue for them of they don't care about the money. They want their end game, their end times game. But I wonder, though, if this pushed them to if this war is pushing them, like, maybe they didn't like the timing of having to scramble for the end game now. I mean, I don't know. I'm just I'm speculating. And hello to Marilyn. Thank you for joining. Janice replied to Callie, I was also thinking apocalyptic. All right. Kay asks, is Israel the largest source of potash by the Dead Sea? I don't know, actually. Never heard of it. I have no idea. I'll have to look that up. But I don't know. And hello to William. Thank you for joining. All right. So I'm sorry if I missed anybody. And Mike's in Arizona. All right. All right. So now I said we're going to go to Lebanon because there's a video I want to show you. So there's very intense fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon, even to the point where there's more than 1,000 deaths. In Lebanon, there are almost 1 million people evacuated from their homes in Lebanon, and there's even Lebanese soldiers who were not technically involved in the fighting that have been killed in the crossfire. And just today, there were 3 journalists. I think they were journalists for Hezbollah and Iranian affiliated outlets. They were killed also by Israel. I think by Israel. I don't know if Israel said they were. They were responsible, but they were killed in an Israeli strike. So I don't know if they were targeted or not. So let's talk a little bit about Lebanon. First of all, there's intense it's escalated from air raids or Israel doing like targeted airstrikes. They're still doing that, but much less than in the beginning. And it's almost like they laid the ground for going in on the ground. And also Hezbollah, by the way, still has, they're shooting off about dozens of missiles and drones on a daily basis. And in the north, there's very little response time when that happens. So let's just check out. Oh, wait, let me see. Regardless of my opinions, I'm gonna show this. I appreciate your viewpoints and information residual from the point of living in Israel. Oh, thank you. And you're a very good and impartial journalist. Thank you. I try to be impartial because also I just feel like, well, I think the most important thing is to look at the whole picture. And, the internet is flooded these days with opinions. And I don't think that even if you are of the same opinion, having polarized opinions does not enhance the truth. It only further polarizes people into their corners. And I do believe it's important to let people have all of the information so that they can decide for themselves, and form their own opinions about things. But honestly, just the truth can exist in different opinions, but it's very good to have the perspective of everybody. And so I did a deep dive on the perspective today of Lebanon. I'm going to show you one thing that Israel has released about Lebanon, but I am after that going to show you. We're going to talk about what's actually in the Lebanese news itself. So where am I? So here you go. So Israel says it found a tunnel network beneath a church in southern Lebanon. So here, let's look at some of, I don't even know what this is. What is this? This is I think the grayed out picture is the church itself. And this calling out what it is that, so it says the church compound that Hezbollah turned into a terror complex that they were operating from. So let's look at these pictures. All right, there's tunnels under a church. Here's the outside, and I think the next one is a video, so I will try to enlarge it and we'll watch.
הכנסייה הזאת הפכו אותה להיות בעצם מרחב לחימה, תת קרקע מקומי, מקושר בין כל היתומים, פראי לחימה, ועם יכולת לצאת, להתחבר למרחבים נוספים. בעצם פה מתחת לברזלים האלה, התוואי הראשי של תת הקרקע, שעברו את הקירות בצורה מתאימה, שיהיה להם פתחי חרכי ירי אל מול התקדמות כוחותינו.
יש לנו פה עלייה למדרגות לבחוץ, לאחר מכן זיהינו שיש פה כניסה פתח, בואו תסתכל בפנים, רואים את הסולם שנכנס פנימה. הסולם זה בדיוק לנקודה שיש את השקי פרקה למעלה, שזה מחובר לכל המערכת.
נמצאים עכשיו.
Okay. All right, so you guys saw this? So now I can't translate the whole thing, but you see them going in like, okay, like we arrived at this church, but as I think they were being shot at, or there was like some battle going on. Anyway, they go inside and they found weapons, and then they found an entrance with a ladder and the ladder went down into a tunnel system. So the spokesperson, the IDF spokesperson in Arabic, said, like, this is an absolute abomination to take a church and to turn it into a terror complex. Like, it was like, literally, this is from where they're going to do battle. Now, it was also, Mike says they had an English subtitles version. Oh, I wish I had it, because it was too long for me to translate the whole thing. And there were a few words I don't even know. So, so they have, so apparently they revived it. Like, it was like they weren't in that area or something, and then they came back to it or something like that. But I went to what do you call it, in I did a deep dive in some of the Lebanese media, and I could not find an article about the church. I could not find an article about the church. I am looking, and this one doesn't look like a pretty moderate paper, but I couldn't find it. So I thought, okay, this is what Israel says. Like, I want to go and see, what are the Lebanese saying? Now, the Lebanese, it's a big country with a lot of opinions. It's actually a small country with a lot of opinions. And there are people that are totally against Hezbollah and want them out. And it doesn't mean they're pro-Israel. Like I said, truth can exist in two things. Like, they agree Hezbollah is horrible, they still don't like Israel. So there's a lot of that going on. But there was one article here, though, that where they write, the headline is, how did Hezbollah reappear south of Litani with its weapons? And they are even noticing that Hezbollah that was supposed to disarm, that somehow was like pushed out and everything, they're back, and with their weapons are back. And it says, how could illegal Iranian weapons appear in an area that the army claimed to have brought under its control? The state offers justifications, arguing that Hezbollah did not cooperate with the Lebanese army and did not hand over maps of weapons deployment. This was in a media report. This is media quoting media. The media that is being quoted is the Nida al-Watan newspaper. They say, furthermore, the South is vast, and it appears that this practice of storing weapons in homes has been going on for over 40 years, with Lebanese security agencies lacking sufficient data. Since the era of President Amir Lahoud and the Israeli withdrawal from the South in May 2000, the state has been largely absent. And then, this is not a quote. Hezbollah didn't need to transport fighters with their weapons. They simply went to the south and deployed to areas where weapons were already present. In other words, they allegedly left the area, but their weapons were buried, and they just went back to them, especially after the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had restructured them and the party had rebuilt its infrastructure. Consequently, Hezbollah's installations weren't limited to the tunnels that had been seized and booby-trapped, which was done, by the way, by the Israelis and I think the Lebanese, but extended to homes and fields, it said. Now, this is exactly what the Israeli army contends, that this is exactly what has happened, that they have these tunnels, and they have these weapons that they're keeping in houses, under houses, and now under churches. So I think it is very interesting that now the Lebanese are saying, okay, enough is enough. Okay, like we've got to get this under control. All right, here's some more from Lebanon. Lebanon has received intelligence reports from Egypt indicating that the Israeli war is likely to be protracted. This comes as Israel deployed a new military division to southern Lebanon, confirming its intentions to escalate the conflict. So this is intelligence coming from Egypt to Lebanon. Just be prepared for a long war. Again, we don't know what's going to happen when if there are negotiations between America and Iran. What happens with the Israel Hezbollah front in southern Lebanon? Don't know. Now, here are some more indications. The Saudi Arabia embassy in Beirut issued a statement on Friday saying that in relation to the repercussion of the current events, they're putting a travel ban to Lebanon in place. Oh, it has been in place, but they're saying that they urge their citizens to leave Lebanon immediately. So there's more indications. Also, you've got the Israeli army, they're saying, is shelling these different regions. I know there were 2 Christians that were caught in the crossfire and they were killed. And the priest there was imploring, like, please let us get their bodies so that we can bury them. But they were like on the other side of a humanitarian corridor. So the Israeli army said that a soldier was severely injured. Several soldiers were severely injured on Friday. 2 were killed on Thursday. So that is heating up. They're talking about that Hezbollah is targeting all of these towns in the north, including all the towns that I was in, and there was not one siren in the whole time that I was there. So anyway, okay, so I just did my roundup of Lebanon right there. I told you about that. And that Lebanon, by the way, though they have expelled the Iranian envoy, he's supposed to leave tomorrow from Lebanon. And there was debate about whether or not that is actually going to happen. Okay, so now I am back. Oh, yes. Laura is asking, do you know which village the church was in? Yes. It's like, I will tell you, I have it somewhere. It's like, no, I'm not going to try to say it. I forgot. Come on. Let me see. It's like Al-Kio. Oh my goodness. All right. I need my phone back. I'll find it because it was definitely in the statement that I have. In the meantime, let me see if there's other questions. I'll find that for you, Laura. Let's see. My opinion is that Trump will send troops to Israel to help in Lebanon. I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree that Trump would do that because of I don't think that they ever have. Okay, so let's see. Yes, okay, I got the church. It's Al-Qiyam. It's spelled different ways. I'll spell it for you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's Al-Qiyam. I don't know if that might only go to YouTube and not, if you're watching on Facebook, you might not have got it, but it's Al-Qiyam. And I'm sure I'm not saying that right. Let's see. I don't know if Trump, just to go back to that, will send troops to Lebanon. That seems like Israel does that alone. Okay, so Callie asked, what does long war look like for us? I mean, she's not asking, she's making a rhetorical statement. Yes. Months on Zoom school, or we're more or less back to normal and the IDF is still hitting targets over there? Well, good question. For the North, it probably means Zoom school. And then how they try to open schools in areas that were far enough away. So who knows? Who knows? I don't want to get my hopes up for anything these days. Okay. From Dad. Lebanon is not able to bring Hezbollah under control. Remember the explosion in the harbor of Beirut, and Hezbollah was never held accountable. Yeah, I don't even know if they ever had a conclusive investigation saying it was their stagnant weapons that blew up. I don't know. But also, a lot of Lebanese are starting to say that. Like, you've seen a lot of the Lebanese saying, like, okay, weren't you supposed to do this? You were supposed to, we said we were going to do this. Why can we not do this? And there's growing unrest among the people in Lebanon. So let's see if that actually does, if that movement grows to get rid of Hezbollah. There are a lot of people who want to get rid of Hezbollah, but Hezbollah is still entrenched in the government. There are still many pro-Hezbollah politicians in the government, in the parliament, and they are probably better armed than the Lebanese army itself, according to what I've heard. So it's a difficult situation. And once they go, I would say, oh, by the way, look, I can show my own comment, and then you can all see it. See, that was my comment. I was spelling the name of the church, or where the church is located. So Laura, do you know it? That's a Muslim village. Okay. Then why is this exactly what the IDF is saying? All right, let's look this up. Hey, Lucas, did you have a question?
Not for you.
Oh, okay.
I wanted AirPods. Where is it dead?
AirPods, no, yeah. AirPods during the year.
Maybe that's the name of the church, not the village. In Kiam. It says here it's a Greek Catholic church in southern Lebanon. And it says, due to severe damage sustained during recent conflicts between Hezbollah and Israel, the church was deemed at risk of collapse and demolished in December 20. What? Okay. I don't know. We'll have to look it up, but this is what, oh, that's so interesting. All right, I'll look it up and see that. But this is Laura says they are probably hiding the location of the church. I don't know. This is what Israel said. I'm going to look again. Let's see if I can find their thing here. Oh, but the problem is there's so many messages a day that to go like this and find it. That would be interesting. All right. So I don't know, but there is evidence of the name of this church, or the name of this anyway, in like that it looks like maybe it was already destroyed and now they're just using the structure of it. But still, it would be there. It would be okay. Yeah. So Trinda's saying that it looks like the church had been abandoned. And so according to when I just looked it up now, that it said that a church that it was like a structure that was already abandoned and coming down. And then what did they say? It was like dating back to 2006. And so it was, but it was demolished in 2025. No. Okay, guys, never mind. You can't do that. We can't do this on the fly. I can't do this on the fly because I may not be looking up the right one. So I'll circle back. You gotta love the circle back stuff, right? So we'll figure that out. Okay. So, all right. Well, Laura, you and I will chat. We'll figure this out. Maybe your grandmother will, when I find the right place, maybe she'll know about it. Okay. Jerry says, why doesn't Israel and the U.S. finish it once and for all instead of what some folks might think, not doing a good enough job? Well, the question is, what does finish it once and for all mean? It means different things to different people. And so even, for instance, when they talk about Iran, the goalpost keeps moving. Like first it was regime change, then it was let's destroy their nuclear weapons, then it was let's destroy their weapons. So it changes a lot. Also, with Hezbollah, the problem is they're based in another country, so there are different ways you can finish things in other countries. So it's a tough call for certain people, and how things like that can be done and at what cost, because not all Israelis would even agree to, that finishing it off could actually be quite deadly for their own soldiers. So anyway, let's see. Trinda says in the video of church, it looks as if it abandoned. Yeah, so I don't know if that's from recent or if it's the one I just saw now that's from 2006. So we'll see. And then also, William says, sounds like it was an abandoned church due to the conflict in the area. Yeah, or maybe back, like whether it was, how many rounds? 2006 was the second Lebanese war, with Israel. And then there was the, from 2023 to 2024. So there was that. And let's see, let me hide, but how do I click on that? I can't click on it. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't actually click on the link right now because it either gives me like show this or don't show that or whatever. So I can't actually click on it. Oh, whoa. No, I didn't want to add to block list. I hope I didn't block you, Kelly. If I did, it was an accident. Trinda says that Arafat was entrenched in this area. Well, that's interesting. I don't know that. But okay, well, I came to, except for the fact that I can't find this issue of the church, but wherever that church is, they were using it. Okay, good. Callie's still there and she's still commenting. And it still shows. Okay, because I clicked something because I was trying to get on the link and I can't click on the link from this. I could probably do it later in Facebook. But anyway, I'm sure that'll have the answer. But as I still scroll, it's just impossible. There's so much news on a daily basis. You can't very quickly find all of what you're looking for. Okay. Well, anyway, I reached the end of all of my notes. And so that's it. I'm at the end, but this was a great conversation, and thank you all for joining and for all of the information and the questions and what is this? Check out 1980 Beaufort Castle, all the South. I don't know. And Emily, oh boy. Emily, look what I learned to do while you were gone. Catching the live here and there. Look right there. Your comment is now showing. But also, Trinda says, check out the 1980 Beaufort Castle, all the South. I don't know what that is. And what does that mean, all the South? That's interesting. Okay. And Callie says, thanks for keeping the war fun. Thank you. That keeps it fun.
Well, try to put the mic closer to your mouth.
Why?
Because I want to see the difference.
Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, Tony is having me test my mic. Look, guys, I have a mic. I had a mic, but I just finally only ever.
Ask them if they did feel a difference.
Do you guys feel the difference in the sound when I put it closer?
Well, it's like delayed, so I'm waiting.
It's delayed. Okay. I'm going to cough though. Hold on.
You can mute the mic.
I can mute it. My God, I probably won't know how to turn on. I love it. So Jen knows Emily. Oh, that's so funny. Yes. So Emily, now you can see you have to try to get no typos because your comments might appear. And so where is Beaufort Castle, guys? Is this in southern Lebanon? Tammy says she notices no change in the sound. Anyway, Tony is testing. Tony is like my thumbnail guy, my tech guy, my everything. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Trinda. I'm going to have to go do a deep dive. I don't know anything about this. Yes, Emily, Jen was on your trip and here you left and she's still here. I appreciate Jen. I appreciate the fact that you stayed while my sister left. Yeah, very upsetting. Can't believe it. Never, I didn't even see her. I didn't even see my sister was here and I didn't even see her. She had to go like fleeing through the southern border. Okay. But the mic is helpful. Okay. Good to know. Okay. Yeah, so Trinda, I will do some research and Davis said the sound is better. Cool. Oh my gosh, you guys both, wow, both for it. I'm going to have to go for, wow, look how sad. Hey guys, happy Palm Sunday to those of you who celebrate, because tomorrow for Western Christians, for Catholics, Protestants, etc., is Palm Sunday. But guess what? Here, no Palm Sunday, actually. There's no procession. It is normally one of the biggest events in Christendom in Israel, in Jerusalem. There is a procession from the church, the Betfage church, all the way down the Mount of Olives, all the way into the old city, and then up to St. Anne's Church. And that is the wonderful procession. You've got pilgrims, you have local Christians, you have scouts from all of the churches playing bagpipes and drums. But nope, tomorrow, none of that, because can't really evacuate thousands of people in case of an Iranian missile. There are no shelters the entire way from the church on the Mount of Olives down to the church in the Old City. So it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And it's actually a big deal because the Christians, first of all, it doesn't just mean a lack of celebrating, because people can still celebrate. They can, they can't really go to church. The church will be limited. I think in the Holy Sepulchre, it will only be priests, but possibly at the St. Saviour's Church, I think there might be people allowed in for Mass. But it doesn't just mean that, okay, oh, sad, they're not going to have the procession. What it actually means is that there's no tourists. It means that the tourists aren't here, that people aren't coming to the country, that the people who own shops in the Old City have no customers. It means that the church is empty. So these are really like the sad things that are associated with the lack of Palm Sunday. Now, of course, there was also no prayers for Ramadan. The Al-Aqsa Mosque closed. The entire Dome of the Rock compound has been closed since the start of the war. And of course, there have been a lot of condemnations from Muslim countries, most recently Turkey, just about how this is an insult to the world's billions of Muslims. How could you close it? So they're very upset about that. But so it's now trickling down to the Christians, and it's just really sad. I have a video. Oh, Tony, can you find the video of the Palm Sunday and put the link? Because
I don't know if I can put the link. I don't know.
Or send it to me, I'll put it. Because I think, oh no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't go to Facebook for some reason. But no, we can just put one in Facebook, put one in here. But I did a video on it and it was just amazing. Like just to see like all of the people, the scouts always make it, like the bagpipes and the drums, and they have their different uniforms and everything. It's just like, it's actually a really beautiful event. And so that's not gonna happen. But I was just reminded because a friend of mine who is a Christian, she just said, "Are you doing anything tomorrow for Palm Sunday?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, video about how there is no Palm Sunday." I actually went around the Old City and I interviewed some people. And oh my gosh, let me see if I can show you this photo of this man making palms. Actually took the palms, he got them from Jericho, and he was weaving them. Isn't that amazing? So I interviewed him. But yeah, all of them were saying like that. Oh, like Callie just said right now, I don't think pre-COVID Israel would have prohibited gatherings like this. And all the people that I interviewed said this. It's been 6 years of this, 6 years of first of all, like closed borders, and then just like limited movements, closed shops, and no tourists. And so for especially the shops in the old city, like they've been really suffering. So anyway, that's really sad. So I'm gonna write an article about
I
that
just posted
and do a video.
I'm just gonna do it on Facebook as well.
Oh, okay,
I did
Tony.
it on your YouTube.
Tony posted the video. So if you guys, it's on YouTube. I don't know if I posted
You
here.
have to copy the link.
You're gonna have to copy the link probably
It's
and
on
go
YouTube,
there.
on Facebook, but I don't.
Tony posted it in the chat of both
On
YouTube
YouTube, it'll go directly
and on
to,
Facebook. So you might have to copy paste it. But anyway, that you can go watch that. So that's the sad thing about tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow is the first of 3 weeks of Easter events. For instance, next week is Easter for Catholics, Protestants, but it's Palm Sunday for the Orthodox, and then the week after that is Easter for the Orthodox. So it's 3 weeks in a row of these kind of events, and that will not happen actually. And Tammy, thanks you. And people are saying they got the link, so that's great.
On YouTube, it's just you could click it. But
Okay. So anyway, all right. So I am going to go and figure out what to do for Palm Sunday, if anything. And it's a work day anyway. Not that we really have work because there's no offices, not many offices open. And the kids do have school for the next few days. And then we have Passover, and then Passover shut down. And then we'll see. And everybody's waiting to see, will people be able to have Passover gatherings, but not Easter gatherings? And this is what everybody's waiting to see. So anyway, I am going to go now, but thank you so much for joining. As usual, lots of fun and great conversation. And I've got to go do some research on Beaufort Castle. Thank you very much. All right, guys, fun chatting, and have a